Hi guys, it's Nika and today I am back with another Creative Sim video and I am super excited about this one. Today I would like to introduce you to a few more really important people in Tyler's life. Believe it or not, I'm finally going to talk about his band. I've been meaning to do that so many times in the past 5 years. But there was always something off, something that made me feel like maybe I shouldn't introduce them yet. Maybe I should sit on them for a little bit longer and release them later. So hey, 5 years later, it's finally happening. I finally figured all of them out, I believe, and now I'm super excited for you to meet them. So these 4 guys call themselves Rosie. Yes, sort of after Tyler. But he actually disagreed with that name. The other 3 picked it, and he sort of, democracy, I guess. 3 voted yes, 1 voted no. It's simple. At first, they were actually playing with another singer. In fact, it was that guy's band. I did not come up with the guy's name yet. I know it's embarrassing because it's been 5 years, but I didn't. This guy started it, but he was, among other things, quite an asshole, and he did some shady stuff, and the other 3 were quite unsure of him. They used to play at a pub in Bridgeport, and one night a famous producer was rumored to come take a listen to them. Well, before that concert, the former frontman got completely wasted, and the guys knew he was doing some nasty drugs as well. He seemed to have taken some just before the concert. He was acting weird and somewhat aggressive towards everyone, and it wasn't the first time either. He did this often, and they finally decided to tell him to pull himself together and get some help because they would just not play with him in this state. But the producer was actually there that night. And it would be such a shame if they missed such an opportunity by canceling the concert. Well, a certain boyfriend had a friend, and he too dreamed of making it big. He actually brought that friend and other friends to this concert that night. And this boyfriend, that was Blake from last week's video, he introduced them, and when the guys learned that Tyler sings and plays the guitar too, they were like, you need to save us. We need you on the stage in a second. And at that time, they mostly played covers of iconic 80s rock and metal bands, some very popular songs, some that are less known in their time. And the fact that Tyler showed up there to help them, it was fate. It was just meant to be. He's got a special interest in what he calls rock that was born before I was born, especially in 80s rock. And it turned out that he knew everything they had on the setlist for that night, except obviously for the few of their own songs, but they agreed to improvise. And it was the best night of his life, although it didn't lead to the band rising to crazy fame instantly. He looks back at it fondly, and so do the other 3. The guys decided to keep Tyler, and they were like, well, we kinda kicked our old frontman out and he came up with our old name. We need a new one in case he wants it when he gets better. And when they had earlier learned about Tyler's nickname, they were obsessed with it. They loved his energy and enthusiasm. And they went, you know what, we should all be a little bit Rosie. And with Tyler in the band, they started moving away from covers and started making their own music, which was mostly inspired by the 80s sound, but also brought in some elements of their other favorite artists and some elements that were purely theirs. And a few months from then, they were able to strike a deal and get their first single out, and the rest is history. Well, it's not. I would like to talk about their career too, not that I have much figured out, to be honest, but yeah, I would like to talk about it, but there's no time, and I need to introduce you to the individual 3 guys. Yes, 3, because I assume most of you already know Tyler. If not, I have a short video about him and a lot of stuff on my Twitter and my Tumblr. The guys in my nickname, I mean, he's everywhere, look him up. Everywhere on my socials, I mean. In the band, he's the main singer. Sometimes he plays the guitar, sometimes he plays the piano for the ballads and stuff, and he's also the one who's written the most songs for the band. He loves the attention and spotlight, but he hates being put above his bandmates. He never wanted to be a solo artist. He's in it with them, and they are all equal in this, and he would not be doing it without them. I imagine that if they ever broke up, disbanded, he would just quit music altogether and he would just go back to being nobody, I guess. Well, not going back to being nobody, but like he would not continue singing and producing music. He would just continue singing for himself and stuff. Now onto his bandmates. So the first one I would like to introduce to you is Ben Braden. He plays the guitar and also does some vocals. He is the oldest in the band and he looks after his younger friends like a mom. He used to be close friends with the former frontman and he doesn't want any of his bandmates to get in similar trouble. His own lifestyle and sleeping habits, however, are questionable. In my older notes for this guy, I literally just wrote, yeah, I stay up all night, but check out this sick solo. That tells you everything. When he gets an idea for a song, he keeps writing, he keeps playing. And he doesn't care about his sleep schedule. The band meets up in his warehouse apartment to practice. Well, technically at first it was Ben's uncle's warehouse and he just let him stay there, but eventually he sold the warehouse to him, so now it's just Ben's. Ben is in a relationship with Jenny Hayward, who I will also introduce to you soon, and they met when she was bartending in the pub where they used to play in the beginning of their career, in the beginning of their band. And Jenny and Ben actually broke up a few times and then got back together, but they may or may not be the end game. They're just kind of good together, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but yeah. And as I said, you guys are gonna meet Jenny later and I think she is such a sweetheart. I love her so much. Can't wait to introduce her to you. Also, fun fact, when I first created Ben, he was actually a vampire. No one's surprised at this reveal, but yeah, he was a vampire and he got turned in the actual 80s, and so he like remembered it, he remembered the concerts and everything, and he was actually the one who started the band. There was no like other bad guys starting the band. He wanted to kind of revive the music as it was in the 80s, something like that, and he lived in the warehouse of his uncle because the rest of his family disowned him and only this one uncle was like, you know what, it's good. Seems like you're not like, I don't know, an evil vampire or anything. Stay here in the city. And yeah, I'm not sure if I want to keep Ben being a vampire. I kind of want to, but at the same time, I feel like maybe I have too many vampires. Then again, is there ever such thing as too many vampires? I'm gonna think about that. You can think about it as well. Leave your opinion below. I would be happy to hear it. But we need to move on to the other two bandmates. So the next one I would like to introduce is Joe Maxwell. He is the second youngest in the band, just a little older than Tyler. He's playing the bass and he's actually Blake's secret boyfriend. He's somehow always overdressed and honestly he might secretly be a hair god. I'm kind of thinking that when he's older he will launch his own brand and sort of dip into fashion. If this whole band thing hadn't worked out, he totally would have been an illustrator or designer. He's got a really good eye for color and oftentimes when it comes to stage outfits, he listens to the ideas of other guys and then just turns them into something gorgeous and iconic. He just really knows how to level up their ideas. As I already said, he's dating Blake. They met on the internet long before Blake moved back to the area, and in person they actually met for the first time just a few months before the night when Rosie was born. And listen, when Tyler saw Joe for the first time, he was like, okay, Blake, now I can see why you didn't want to date me, why you instead decided to date Joe, because like, Joe's gorgeous, okay, he's just a god. And anyway, last but not least Eddie Elliott, the drummer of the band. And before anyone says anything, no, I did not name him after Eddie from Stranger Things. It's a coincidence. A beautiful one though, because I love Eddie Munson. And like, I named my Eddie before I knew about Eddie from Stranger Things, and seriously, Eddie is like one of my most favorite characters ever. So yeah, when I realized that, I was like, oh my god. But overall, I feel like Tyler is closer in personality to Eddie Munson than my Eddie. I don't know. Anyway, back to my Eddie. He, just like Tyler, also writes a lot of songs, and the things he kind of specializes in is he is trying to come up with the most earwormy, catchy melodies or lyrics. And it's kind of like, if a Rosie song or part of a song gets stuck in your head, chances are Eddie is responsible for it. And he made it extra catchy on purpose. He always looks tired and confused, but he actually is getting more sleep than Ben, and he knows what is going on, even if he actually really 100% doesn't look like it. He loves to troll the paparazzi with Tyler. They both find it hilarious to make fun of them and bait them with some like really crazy photo. They enjoy it so much. As for if he's in a relationship, he kind of has a on and off friends with benefits type of thing with Vicky Beringer. Vicky is the band manager's niece, and they had an internship at the music company. They were sort of the manager's extended hand and got to deal with the band a lot of time. So that's how Eddie and Vicky met and got to know each other. But Vicky kind of doesn't want them to have a serious relationship. They kind of have this assumption that nothing good would come out of dating a band guy. And as for how Eddie feels about it, well, he doesn't talk about it at all. So everyone can only guess if he would like something more, if he's okay with it, if it hurts him. Seriously, no one knows. He just keeps it locked deep down in himself. And that's actually all I have in my little script. And I'm surprised that I'm actually still having like 4 minutes to talk. So yeah. Oh yeah, just like Jenny, I will show you Wiki as well. So look forward to that. I am also planning on showing you a few more guys from the story that I had planned with my Gen 4 Sims. I've sort of mentioned this before. I planned this whole story with Tyler, Caleb, Bianca, Zoe, a story around these siblings. However, then I never finished it, and honestly, I don't have the patience to write a Sims story anymore. I'm so sorry, but I just don't. But also, I want to tell you at least bits of what I prepared, bits of what I was planning for the story. So I'm just gonna make these little videos where I recreate these guys in The Sims 4, and I'm just gonna talk about them a little bit so you can get your own idea of what was probably happening. Anyway, how do you like the band? I am so excited to finally introduce them, because I first told people that I was going to create them and show them. I first told people in 2018 on my Tumblr, and I had a post in my draft and I was going to post it. I remember I created it right before I went on a week-long vacation, and then when I came back I thought I would post it, but when I came back I didn't like it anymore. Didn't like it. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I just didn't really want to post it anymore. I don't know, there was just something about the post style or something, I don't know, so I didn't post it. And then I recreated the guys a few times over the years, and every single time I was like, something's missing, something's off, this is not the kind of band that I would like to introduce. And also I'm kind of a perfectionist, and as I've said many times, Tyler is like one of my mainest characters, one of my mainest original characters, comfort characters, call it whatever you want. He just means so much to me, so I want his band to be perfect. And yeah, so that's kind of what was stopping me from talking about them in the last 5 years, but I'm so happy that I finally did that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will probably I don't want to promise anything, but I will probably try to do some edits with them. Some, like, I don't know, concert edits, some album covers, maybe. I will try to come up with titles of their songs or something. I don't know, exciting stuff. But I'm not promising anything, because it took me 5 years to introduce them. This will probably take me 5 more years, so like, oh my god, it's gonna be 2028. That's insane. Every year after 2020 sounds like we've been living in a sci-fi movie. Does anyone else feel like that? Like, the year of 2023, it just sounds fake. No way we are living in 2023 and then in 5 years it will be 2028. That's the kind of date that you will see in a science fiction movie. No way it's real. But anyway, I'm gonna actually stop talking now. So, as I've already probably said a million times, I hope you like these sims. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. I love you guys. Bye everyone.